Hi friends, so today we are going to learn how to interpret bar graphs. So all that means is we are going to learn how we read a bar graph. So let's look up here. It says, a bar graph uses bars to show data. So bar graph, that is an important vocabulary word that I'm going to want to keep in mind when we are working on these. A scale of equally spaced numbers helps you read the number each bar shows. So now, it's going to tell us a little bit about the bar graph. It says, the students in the reading group made a bar graph to record the number of books they read in October. How many books did Seth read? So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the different components of a bar graph before we go ahead and get started. So let's look up here. It says, the title tells us what the bar graph is going to be about. So right here is the title of my bar graph, and the title is Books Read in October. Okay, so I found my title. It's right here. And a title is important because it's going to tell us what our bar graph is going to be about. It's the data we want to know. Over here it says the length of a bar tells how many books each student read. So if you look at the end of the bar on each one, it tells me the amount of books that each student has read. So when we look at this, it's really important that we are being careful, because sometimes the bars might come in the middle. So here we're looking at the end of each bar, okay? Now, each bar is labeled with a student's name. So here we have the student's names, okay? And then on the bottom, we have the number of books. So the scale is 0 to 16, and it's by 2. So if you look here, this is my scale. Now, what is the scale for my bar graph? If you said the scale is 0 to 16, counting by 2s, you're correct, because it starts at 0 and it ends at 16, and they are counting by 2s, okay? Now, how can you find the number? I want to go ahead and I want to write my numbers of my bar graph before I go ahead and get started. How can I find a number that my bar graph shows? Well, if you said look at the end of the bar, you are absolutely correct. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and find that first, okay? So we're going to find the length of each bar in my bar graph. So first we're going to look at Max, okay? So if I draw my line straight down looking at Max, how many books did Max read? 6. Good. If you said 6, you are correct. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and erase this each time so it's not confusing. I don't want to confuse anyone. Okay, now let's look at Amy. I'm not going to look at Amy right now because Amy's in the middle, so I want to talk about that in a second. But I'm going to look at Seth real quick. Seth, how many books did Seth read? If you draw your line straight down, how many books did Seth read? 8. Good. Now I want you to look here. How many books did Kate read? I'm drawing my line straight down. If you said 12, you're correct. Now let's look at Amy. Amy's is halfway in between. So since the bar ends halfway between 8 and 10, what number is between 8 and 10? If you said 9, you are correct. Okay? So Amy read 9 books. Now it says find the bar for Seth. It ends at what? So he said Seth's bar ended at 8. So how many books did Seth read in October? You said 8. You're correct. Now let's go down to number 1. How many books did Max read? So when we think about Max, we're going to go across. How many books did Max read? I want you to go ahead and write the number down on your paper. You said 6 books. You are correct. Max read 6 books. Now, who read 4 fewer books than Kate? So how many books did Kate read? Kate read 12 books. So who read 4 fewer? You're subtracting. So 12 minus 4 is 8. So which person in the graph read 8 books? Go ahead and write that name down. Which person in the graph read 8 books? Okay, if you said Seth, you are correct. Seth read 8 books. I'm going to go ahead and write his name here. Now, it says, what if Amy read 5 more books? How many books did Amy read? Shade the graph to show how many she read. Now, right now, Amy, let me erase this little part. Amy read 9. So I need to count 5 more. So I'm going to come over here. This is 1 because it's a half, right? Now, what if I go like this? What is this equal to, this whole part that I just drew? You said 2, you're correct, so we're counting by 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you can see here with my red, I have 2 here, 2 here, and I have 1 because it's only a half, okay? So 2 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5. So I'm going to look down. How many books did she read now? You said 14. You are correct. She has read 14 books now. Okay, now what I want you to do is go ahead and flip to this other paper. We're going to finish this part together. Your independent work is down here where I wrote independent. So you're doing these 3 questions for your independent work. Now it says, I want you to go ahead and look. These 2 bar graphs show the same data. So this is the same as this. Now they look a little bit different because one is a horizontal bar graph and one is a vertical bar graph. Let's look at horizontal. So this is another key vocabulary word, so I'm going to go ahead and box this in. In a horizontal bar graph, the bars go from left to right. So if you see here, the bars are going from left to right. The length of the bar shows the number. Now here in a vertical bar graph, the bars go up from the bottom. So as you can see here, they're all going up. The height of the bar shows the number, so it's really the same thing. Now it says number 4. What does each space between the numbers represent? So now we have to figure out what is the key on this graph. What does each space equal? Now, an easy way to do this is go from 0 to the first number. That's going to tell you what you are counting by. Okay, so what number are we counting by? 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. What number are we counting by? If you said 4, you're correct. So each of these stands for 4 what? Students. Now it says, why do you think the scale in the graphs is 0 to 28 by 4s instead of 0 to 28 by 1s? Why do we think they did that? Why do you think they didn't just count by 1? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Why do you think they didn't do, why do you think they decided not to do that? I think they decided not to do that because there would be way too many numbers in the graph and it wouldn't fit on the page. So I'm going to go ahead and write that. There would be too many numbers in the graph, wouldn't fit on the page. So I just answered the first part of that question. There would be too many numbers and the graph wouldn't fit on the page. Now, what is another number that I could use to count from 0 to 28? So they used 4s. What's another number I could use to count from 0 to 28? Could I count by 2s? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. Does that work? Yes. So I'm going to say you could count by 2s. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to put, if you have room, put up a little bit. Count by 2s. That's another one that would work. Okay? Now, today for independent practice, you are going to go ahead and look at this part, favorite ways to exercise, and you're going to answer questions 1, 2, and 3 and submit. All right, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful day.